Hello, this is Heather Hoffman. I'm here today with a Slimline Peekaboo card using the July 2021 Kit of the Month from Unity Stamp Company. I thought it'd be fun to use that adorable giraffe, and then also that one sentiment that I ended up using is one that's just been calling my name. So I started off by stamping this giraffe using my MISTI on some just white cardstock using some Copic friendly ink. And then I've pulled 3 colors of Copic markers. I forgot again to set the lids down so you could see the colors. But I'm starting off there with E39, moving on to E15, and then E55, and then using the colorless blender to blend down a little bit on this. And for this image, I'm only coloring the spots on the giraffe, and I'm just going to show the spots on the neck there, kind of the process as I colored down. I didn't want to spend too much time on all the details of the coloring on this, and since it's the same process I used there, just blending from darker color down to the lightest, I figured it was the exact same thing I did for the other areas as well. So instead of showing that, I'm just moving on to my other colors. This is R11 that I used a little bit on the ears. And then the flowers, I'm using R32 first. And then I'm going to come in a second and add a little bit of shading with R14. I love those 2 colors together, and they're perfect for flowers. And I also, you might have seen, I used that down on the heart there on the giraffe's neck. I love that tiny detail tucked on there as well. You almost could miss it if you didn't color it a different color like I did on there to make sure it popped. All right, final touch there, a little bit of color on the couple leaves that are on this. So that first color was YG03, and then I finished off with YG25 to add a little bit of shading. All right, so there's a quick look at all of those colors. And then I grabbed my scissors, and again, I fast forward a little to save a bit of time. But I went ahead and used my scissors just to fussy cut this image out, leaving a little bit of a white shadow. I didn't want to try and get it too perfect. And you might notice I left a little extra at the bottom, and part of this is because of the way I'm going to tuck it into the oval I'm making. So I'm using a Slimline card. The card base is made out of craft cardstock, and then the front panel is a little bit smaller, and I made that with some cream cardstock. I thought it would offset the white on the giraffe a little bit. And I'm using a stitched oval die. You can use anything to create this window, any shape. This is from Pinkfresh Studio. It's a blanket stitched oval die, and I like that it adds the stitching detail on there. Not necessary, so use whatever you have on hand or whatever your favorite. But now you can see I can tuck the base of that giraffe down at the bottom and leave the top poking out, and it kind of gives a fun 3-dimensional look to it. All right, there's that sentiment I was talking about from this kit. I just love not only the font, but also just the words and the message on it. And I really thought it would be fun to use on this card. And the Slimline card gave me that canvas size that allowed me to put the larger sentiment and still fit that image on there as well. So I'm going to stamp this on here using some black ink. The same black ink. It's Copic friendly. You could use anything for this because I'm not going to color, but it happened to be what I still had out on my desk. So, and I stamped it several times. Again, since I'm using my MISTI, I just like to make sure I have a really good, clean and crisp impression, and that allows me to do that. So I kind of played with how I wanted to place that in there. Once I was happy with it, I grabbed a little Post-it tape. Any easily removable tape works. I just wanted to hold it in place, and then I could come in the back, and this is just standard Scotch tape to tape the bottom down. That way I knew it wasn't going to move from where I wanted it to be. And I thought about mounting the whole thing up with foam adhesive, and in the end I decided to mount that background panel just with adhesive. You might notice though I'm being careful not to put any adhesive on the top part of the giraffe. And the reason for that is once I adhere that down, once I get it centered in there, I'm going to pop a little bit of foam adhesive. This is going to help build up that 3-dimensional look a little bit because it's going to make the giraffe look even more like he's kind of poking his head out of that hole. And then I also curled up the ears and the flowers and kind of some of the edges of that as well. All right, final finishing touch, a few sparkly pink jewels because no card is finished without a little bit of bling as well. And that is the finishing touch, and this card is done. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful day.